Hello, Pat.
Good morning, Dr. Anita.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, so our presenter is here.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, good morning.
How are you all?
Morning. Good morning, Ma'am Anita. How are you?
Oh, good morning. I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to see you again. How's your daughter?
Like Beverly?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is here. She is
Is she
working.
married already?
Yeah, yeah, very soon.
Okay. Send my regards to her.
Okay.
So at the moment is 8:58. Would you like to wait until 9 o'clock and we can start?
Mhm.
For those who have joined us, can I please request you to turn on your camera so that we can take some pictures? Seems like everyone is not ready yet. On my watch, it said that it's already 9 o'clock. Can we start, Dr. Anita? You are still mute.
Okay, I think we can start now.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the fourth session of the modular online training program conducted by CML Retract. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Pháp, and I'm a program officer at CML Retract, and I will also be the moderator for today's sessions. As you have been with us for the last 3 sessions, this is the fourth session, and it is about teacher leadership in the classroom and action research for educators. Now, for those who have just joined us, I mean the newcomers, let me start by giving you a brief information about our program. This program constitutes of 4 modules. Module 1, Educational Leadership and Management. Module 2, Teachers Leadership and Management. Module 3, Curriculum, Instruction and Assessment. And Module 4, Soft Skills. After today, we have completed Module 1 and Module 2. So on starting from next month, it will be Module 3. Well, before we start, I would like to mention you a little housekeeping that our webinar is a video recorded. So please watch and listen carefully. It will only be less than 30 minutes. And if you have any questions during the videos, please type them into the Q&A panel or the chat box so that we can answer them. Dr. Anita can address each question after. And today our presenter, Dr. Anita Kaplano Oplina, obtained her doctorate degree in education planning and management in the Philippines. She has been in the field of education and engaged in the administrative functions back in the Philippines. She was the assistant of academic vice president at Xavier University in 2014 and dean of faculty and academic affairs at Finma Agrarian de Oro College from 2015 to 17. She came back to CMA Retract in 2018 as a senior educational specialist and have been working as a curriculum developer, instructional material designer, trainer, researcher, and lecturer. She's very passionate to advance the leadership and management skills of school leaders, managers, administrators, and teachers in Southeast Asia. And before turning over to our presenter to have a word with you, I would like to request everyone to turn on your camera for a photo shoot. Now, please do join us in this photo shoot so that we can have a record of who has been here. So please allow me to have 3 shots, and this one would be the first shot. 1, 2, 3, smile please. And the second shot, 1, 2, 3, smile please. And okay, wait. And okay, this is the last shot. 1, 2, 3, smile please. Thank you everyone, and please, I will turn over to Dr. Anita to have a word with you before we start.
Thank you so much for your kind introduction, Mr. Fat. And again, I would like to welcome our participants for this 4th session. As already mentioned, this is the last session for our Module 2. The topics would be teacher leadership in the classroom and action research for educators, as already mentioned. And I hope that this session will be an enriching one and a lively one. And I would really be looking forward to your sharing of experience and thoughts or ideas, maybe questions after watching the video. Now, we are going to start with our topic 7, teacher leadership in the classroom. We can now play the video. Hi everyone, welcome back to our modular online training program.
May I double check with you? Can you hear the video clearly?
Yes.
Today, we are going to explore the last 2 topics of Module 2, Teacher Leadership and Management module. These are topics 7 and 8. Topic 7 is Teacher Leadership in the Classroom. Research for educators. Let's first explore topic 7, Teacher Leadership in the Classroom. Again, my presentation includes 3 key points as follows. 1. What is teacher leadership in the classroom, and where does it begin and develop? 2. How can the teacher leaders make a difference in their classrooms? And 3. How can the teachers advance their leadership skills? Let's begin with key point 1. What is teacher leadership in the classroom, and where does it begin and develop? Teacher leadership in the classroom is about bringing students to the next grade, next level of education, higher level of education, and to employment successfully. Leadership in the classroom is about bringing students to the top of the academic mountain. The classroom is the foundation for teacher leadership. All teacher leaders start as classroom teachers, with their sole responsibility being improving student learning. Rose 2019 identifies the classroom as the source of credibility and motivation for teachers. The emergence of these two factors steers the teacher into leadership. According to Rose, classroom teachers often occupy a unique position as informal leaders. As a result of not having formalized roles, they are able to maintain a peer status that earns them credibility among their colleagues. As such, they are able to position themselves as sources of knowledge for their peers who consider them as equals. This credibility slowly builds up into leadership. Secondly, being in the classroom close to students allows teachers to dedicate themselves to improving student learning. As a result, they develop a strong desire and interest to improve their own teaching practices and address problems in their learning community. In turn, this acts as a motivation to engage in leadership to fulfill their professional interests. Credibility and motivation make the classroom the perfect breeding ground for emergent teacher leaders. Teacher leadership transcends beyond the classroom environment to include the school and even the community or district. However, it is in the classroom where it all begins. The emergent teacher leaders, right from the beginning of the leadership journey, have their primary focus on positively impacting students. As such, in the entire process, teacher leaders consider themselves as classroom educators first. All teacher leaders join the profession to improve student learning. This constitutes the driving force behind their leadership work. Most teacher leaders will not be interested in leadership if their efforts result in zero impact on student learning. To comprehend the concept of teacher leadership, it is essential to understand the meaning of a teacher and a leader and how the two connect. This will lead to an in-depth understanding of the concept of teacher leadership. What is a teacher? The word teacher comes from the verb teach, which means to show, instruct, or impart knowledge. A teacher is a person that imparts knowledge to others. The person receiving the knowledge is a student or learner. Knowledge is any information, instruction, skill, or fact brought to a person's attention. The process of passing information from a teacher to a student is called teaching, educating, training if it's through practice, or instructing. Teaching is either formal or informal. Informal teachers include anyone passing knowledge to people. For instance, a mother teaches her children how to cook. Informal teachers include religious leaders, social workers, and others. Formal knowledge or education is obtained from learning institutions like schools and colleges. Professional teachers conduct formal teaching and learning institutions. Professional teachers are paid for their services and are expected to impart formal education and training to students. A professional teacher passes knowledge such as literacy, numeracy, art, religion, science, vocational training, civics, or life skills. This knowledge is packaged in a curriculum that is systematically taught. Upon completing the curriculum, one is considered qualified to advance to a higher educational level or enter the job market. What is a leader? The word leader originates from the verb lead, defined as to guide or to go before and show the way. A leader goes before others, a group, organization, or association, and guides them in a certain direction. In a management, a leader is a person that can influence people to move toward achieving a shared vision. What is the connection between teaching and leading? Teachers are leaders in the classroom, school, and the entire education system. Teachers lead by example through their actions, speech, and behavior. They are responsible for taking students through the challenging learning activities and possibly lead them to success. This sense of responsibility makes them leaders even if they hold no official authoritative position. Volkan and Goodboy 2018 suggests that effective teaching transcends beyond just disseminating information to students. It requires effective teaching, communication, and management skills. Teachers must know how best to present the learning material to students. They must cultivate maximum student involvement and enhance their learning. They must know how to manage their classrooms effectively. According to Volkan and Goodboy, leadership is an essential resource that teachers can draw from to become more effective. Having explored the teacher leadership and the connection between teacher and leader into teacher leadership in the classroom, prompts us to move to the second key point. How can teacher leaders make a difference in their classrooms? Teacher leaders can make a difference in their classrooms in many ways. I would like to share with you 5 ways to understand how teacher leaders can make a difference in their classrooms. 1. Lack of teacher leadership in the classroom will result in minimal students' growth. Classroom teacher leadership has a direct positive impact on student performance. The lack of classroom teacher leadership minimizes student learning and achievement. Being an effective teacher leader means having the capability to provide good learning and teaching process to students, understand their unique needs, and stimulate them to be achievers, according to Warren 2018. Without leadership, teachers will be unable to achieve classroom management. They will fail to know how best tailor content to students, challenge and motivate them to achieve academic goals, and cultivate a learning culture. In the end, they will be unable to sustain the educational needs of their students, hence setting them up for failure. The New Teacher Center Reports 2017 shows that schools at lower levels in teacher leadership perform poorly compared to their counterparts in high rank. Without leadership, it is challenging to guarantee academic success in the classroom. 2. Promoting and supporting teacher leadership in the classroom will lead to increased student achievement. Teacher leadership is an essential success factor for student learning. Pediali 2018 describes teacher leadership as a sleeping giant in every school that, if woken up, can lead to positive changes to student learning. Calderon et al. 2018 described a model of how teacher leadership impacts student achievement. According to the model, promoting and supporting teacher leadership leads to improvement in learning and teaching practices. These include developing positive teacher-student learning relationships, establishing practical classroom goals and routines, and improving instructional, assessment, and curricular practices. All these changes result in enhanced student learning and achievement. Motivation is the main factor required to promote teacher leadership. According to Warren 2018, motivation can be built by encouraging teachers to share ideas, collaborate, and support other colleagues, form relationships with parents, participate in professional development activities, for example, classroom visitation, and participate in school improvement initiatives. 3. When teacher leaders take responsibility in their classrooms. Assuming the full responsibility of classroom teacher leaders enables them to create maximum intelligence in students. Weisman et al. 2017 studied how leaders manage to make their subordinates smart and more intelligent. They realized that leaders are either diminishers or multipliers. Diminishers are leaders who hold the belief that their organization is made of a few smart people. Hence, the subordinates cannot figure out things without them. Multipliers perceive their subordinates as capable and intelligent individuals. They recognize this intelligence, provoke it, and cultivate it to allow continuous growth of the subordinate. In the end, they make all subordinates around them smarter and more productive. Teacher leadership converts ordinary classroom educators into multipliers. They believe that each student in the classroom is a brilliant mind and capable of achieving academic success. With this belief in mind, teacher leaders tend to focus on bringing out the best in every student. They let each student know that they are smart. They give them challenges that push them to think harder and grow their intelligence. They actively engage students in the learning process, asking them more intriguing questions and allowing them to respond. They identify and cultivate the unique talents of students. They only play the role of facilitators and assisters, allowing students to take ownership of learning. Ultimately, students are encouraged to give their best. 4. Teachers add value to their classroom leadership role to strengthen their profession. The status of teacher education today recognizes the centrality of teaching to educators and thus allows them to make a difference right from their classrooms. Instead of aiming at administrative roles to achieve professional development, teacher leaders today focus more on adding value to their classroom function to enhance student learning. Jones et al. 2016
give several ways in which teachers add value to their role in the classroom. They collaborate and cooperate with other teachers and mentors in practice. This helps them learn from others, engage in introspection, and continuously improve their practice. They connect research with practice. Teacher leaders research and use evidence-based teaching practices to improve student learning. They translate research into practice in the most impactful way possible. They model effective practices. Classroom teacher leaders use their experience and knowledge to mentor and model effective practices for beginning teachers. Modeling gives beginning teachers the opportunity to learn and apply the best teaching practices. They embrace innovation. Classroom teacher leaders take the risk of trying out innovative instructional practices and modeling continuous improvement to promote student learning. This helps them grow as leaders. They become students' advocates. Teacher leaders build positive relationships with students, listening to their needs, mentoring them, and voicing out their problems. This helps create an inclusive learning environment that motivates students to learn. And 5. Teachers strengthen their leadership skills by maintaining a continuous focus on student achievement. From being a novice to an experienced senior, teacher leaders are primarily driven by the strong desire to continuously improve student learning. Sanoki 2018 asserts that most teacher leaders do not even consider their work as leadership. They only focus on taking the appropriate decision and actions to enhance student learning. It's through accomplishing these goals that they develop as leaders. All begin as classroom instructors in charge of managing learners. With time, they develop a sense of responsibility for all students in the school. This sense of responsibility drives them to collaborate with other colleagues. They engage in research and decision-making in the school. They lead in finding innovative solutions to learning problems. They even model best practices for beginning teachers. In each of these roles, they acquire new leadership skills and develop as effective teacher leaders. All this come as a courtesy to their unwavering focus on student achievement. Having said about teacher leaders making a difference in their classrooms brings us to the last key point of my presentation. How can the teachers advance their leadership skills in the classroom? As a teacher, each day you will be leading, inspiring, and motivating your students, whether through planning lessons or assemblies, encouraging your pupils to learn or coordinating extracurricular activities. Leadership and people management skills will form a key part of your role. Whatever your position or experience is, if you're looking to advance your educational career and progress to a more senior position, it will help you if you build on your skills outside the classroom and help you deal with the challenge in leading inside and outside classrooms. You will be aiming to become a senior teacher, a head of department, or even a head teacher. Whatever role you want, the type of leader that you will ultimately be will be unique to you. It will depend on your personality, teaching style, and the existing skills you have. But there are multiple things which you can work on to really hone your leadership skills and deal with the leadership challenge. So, here are three things to help you do this. One, find a mentor. A simple first step to improving your leadership skills is to ask someone whose leadership style you admire or are interested in to mentor you and help you build your skills. This could be someone within the education sector, for example, your head of department or a member of the senior leadership team, or someone from outside of education who is also in a senior role. Any person who is able to lead a team, enforce successful policies, and deliver results while being respected by their team will be able to inspire you. You can then observe how they practice this and how apply it to your own leadership style. The first thing to do here is to establish a relationship. For example, by asking for some initial advice or asking him to observe how you teach or lead and provide feedback. You also set goals that you can work towards and ask your mentor to provide constructive feedback. Two, work outside the classroom. To improve your leadership skills in the classroom, it is important to proactively step outside of your daily classroom environment and get involved in wider school projects. By stepping outside of your day-to-day responsibilities, you can gain wider experience in leading. For example, by taking charge of running a school trip or setting up a new after-school club. While doing this, you will likely be working with other colleagues, building your experience of working in a team while showing that you are committed to your role within the school. Plus, you will be able to network with influential members of departments. And three, improve your communication skills. No matter how good you are at leading, you'll always be better if you can communicate your ideas and policies clearly and effectively. By definition, leaders aren't shy and quiet, but neither do they have to be boisterous and demanding. Improving your communication skills as much about actively listening to others as it is about improving both your verbal and non-verbal skills. This way, you will make yourself heard and make what you say coherent and persuasive. If you want to be listened to, trusted, and respected by your team, ensure that you proactive your style and take time out to understand your audience before you address them. This means listening to their concerns, understanding how they work, and how they are likely to be motivated before you begin communicating demands or new ideas. If you would like some more advice, get in touch with your mentor and your network of teachers today. I have just presented the three key points of my presentation. I hope you have picked up one or two that you can apply in your school. I would like to end my presentation with a few concluding thoughts. The quality of teachers in the classroom is a crucial determinant to learner success in the entire school. Learners taught by excellent educators are more likely to achieve their academic goals than those under a less effective teacher. Teacher leadership is the solution to effective and outstanding teaching and learning. Teacher leaders are highly motivated to enhance student achievement. Stakeholders in education should place significant emphasis on promoting classroom teacher leadership. They should design effective strategies to ensure that the current crop of teachers understands the importance and role of teacher leaders. They should ensure that more non-leader teachers transform into leaders. This will facilitate the success of the class, school, and district, and hence build a well-educated population that will secure the country's future. Thank you for joining us today.
This is the end of the first video, and well, I first would like to remind all the participants that this is an informal session, so we really appreciate if you can share your ideas, your thoughts, your experience with us, and I believe that Dr. Anita will gladly share hers as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fat. And yeah, this is now the time for us to talk. We are going to share our thoughts, ideas about teacher leadership in the classroom. I will be very glad to hear from you. However, if you have like some questions related to my presentation, then I really welcome you all.
While waiting for our participants, well, Dr. Anita, do you have any input or sharings about the videos?
Okay, maybe, yeah, right. I think in my presentation, I really point out that teacher leadership in the classroom is really focusing on student achievement, so that teacher leaders are aiming at students to be able to understand, to be able to improve their achievement in the class. Teachers are going to form students to become good citizens in the future, to become productive. So that is why that teachers are going to form students, not only the mind, but as well as the behavior, the attitude of the students, trying to bring up students to the highest level until the students would be able to, maybe like if the students are going to take up their higher education, then they will be successful in the employment in the workplace. And
Oplina,
yes.
this is Dr. Tumapon from Cagayan de Oro.
Oh, welcome, Dr. Tumapon. I am really very, very happy you have attended.
May I also add that in my case, I always thought that it is not really what the teacher does to the subject content when we teach our students, but it is what the students do with the content. So if we know that they apply what they learn in any sphere that are applicable, and I always would expect them that they broaden their minds to be able to apply what they learn not only in one context. For instance, I was teaching leadership, and then before the lockdown to graduate students, I said, "Did you have physics long before?" "Oh, yes, ma'am," they said. "Can you use physics in organizational stability?" Oh, they were quiet. I said, "I repeat, physics." They were quiet. "What about it, ma'am?" "Do you know the simple machine, the lever, the fulcrum? On one side is effort and one side is resistance. When is the seesaw straight? Ma'am, when they are equal. Wow. So that's beginning na. And then I said, let us go to the park, to the playground. You have a seesaw. One of you is quite heavy, stout, and you ride on the seesaw. Now, this lady who is very slim is on the other side. What happens? Ma'am, when I take the seesaw on the other side, my classmate who is very slim, she will go up. So, what will your classmate who is thin can do to balance? Silence. Then another one said, oh, ma'am, she should go to the edge of the seesaw. She should go far away. So, can you apply this to organizational stability? Let's say the heavy one is the leader and the slim one are the employees. So what happens? Ma'am, now we know what you're talking about. When the fat one, the leader, is very unfriendly and stern, the employees go away from him. So I thought that they have learned. And that is what I mean by broadening our teaching applicable to certain spheres of life. So it is not what we do, but it is what students do that makes learning. Thank you, Dr. Oplina. I have long wanted to see you.
Really, thank you so much, Dr. Tumapon. Dr. Tumapon is one of my panelists in my dissertation. Dr. Tumapon, I'm so glad that you have attended. I remember you really. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
I always wanted
so
to meet you, and I was very happy when I learned you were at Retrac.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so happy you're here. And I really definitely agree with you. I really understand quite well what you're saying, that teaching is learning, and that at the same time we need to change, that we see the change of our students from not knowing to knowing, and then be able to apply what they have learned in context. So really, so great. Thank you so much.
Oh, I have a daughter here. I hope she asks questions. Dr. Saniel, Demetria. Ging, you are muted. Why don't you ask questions?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
There she is.
Good morning to our Dr. Oplina. Good morning to the virtual secretariat. Thank you very much for this invitation. I'm very pleased to. I have simultaneous meetings. Anyway, that's what we call multitasking, and I am trying to make the most out of listening to the new learnings I have from you, ma'am, and from you, and thank you for sharing your expertise.
Thank you.
Good morning from the Philippines, from Mindanao.
Good morning.
Hello.
I think a while ago yeah.
Oh, good morning. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Okay, so good morning, Doc.
Dr. Villa.
I'm
Good
so
morning.
glad with the topics that I'm sorry for the kindly kanang ko asa Lynn. I have my grandson crying. Sorry for that. So
That's
I'm
okay.
so happy with the topic that you shared, this morning, Doc, because I've been handling for a while, Doc. Huh?
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
Wow, what's that? I saw our Dean of Education a while ago, Dr. Oplina, but I cannot see
Dr.
her.
Oplina,
No.
yeah, I saw Dr. Oplina a while ago also.
Okay, I'm back. So
Ah,
sorry for that interruption because this is my situation now. Our house was got burned, and so we are renting a small apartment. So I'm having my space in the sala. This is also the place for my grandson. So I mentioned earlier that I'm so glad you have discuss this topic because last semester I am from OCC, by the way, Misamis Oriental. I was handling this topic organizational leadership, and it talks too much about teacher leaders. So um, when when I was discussing and learning the topic now with my students, so it is really I really agree with your uh, ideas that we need to be active in the classroom in order to motivate our learners, because if we are having weak connections with them, then the tendency is we will be losing our holding power, no? Some are discouraged because of these new learning modalities that we are having. And so I find it really great that teachers should connect with the students and maintain active communication with them. Okay, thank you so much, Doc. Sorry
thank you
sa
so much.
interruption.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much for your thoughts. That's really fine. I definitely agree with you. Yes. So we are really going to build that strong relationship with our students, especially now that we are in the online teaching. So we have the remote teaching and learning. It's quite challenging for us to hold, the students' attention and the retention of learning that students are having during our class session. So we need to be very creative and innovative, in trying to make the learning effective and really happening and interesting to our students. I see there are students who get bored, especially in the online teaching. I guess teachers there should be very active and should be leaders themselves to motivate and engage students in the process of learning and find ways, activities that could enhance and empower them to be engaged.
Oh, there was one instance, Dr. Oblina. I was at the middle of my virtual session and I lost my voice. Can you imagine that? Anyway, to make the story short, I thought of a new way. Maybe it's not really new, but a way where you really don't occupy the whole period that you're talking. So what I do now is, given their handouts and references for that virtual session, I draw up questions. If there are 13 of them, maybe I could draw 8, and with the matching technique, they will have their allotted question, which they will prepare for in PowerPoint bullet style during the next meeting. And if I still have no voice, I just comment on the chat. So I thought that, again, God, in his writing straight in crooked lines, really made me, without a voice, to think about that method. And it is so very, very lively, because then I am assured that they learn, because they will present their PowerPoint and responses. And there are two things that they learn. They have to express straightforward, bullet style, and therefore there is some kind of uniformity in how they express themselves. So it's two birds really with one shot. So I thought I could, maybe you're doing that, but in this case, it really occupies almost the whole session after my maybe some PowerPoint slide that I introduced, and then they do the whole thing. And syempre, they learn, but because Filipinos, they will be starring, so they will do their best. And I found out really that their essays were better, and I think they learned.
That's great. That's really very great. So wonderful. Fantastic.
Such as one of my students said, Ma'am, years later, we may not remember what you say, but we will always remember how you made us feel. Aha, I said, you are making my head swell, huh? No, ma'am, we mean it. We mean it. So that's how I would like to share with you today.
That's so great. Again, fantastic. You see, it is now up really to the teachers. It's really up to the teacher leaders in the class to really hone the attention of the students to make them do something. It's really quite very empowering and engaging, but that all depend on the teacher or teachers in the classroom.
And we reap a harvest of research proposal titles. Because the way I see it, they have finished the research course, and yet they are lingering around thinking of a research title. Mm-hmm. So I understood when I took my course in the UK, because for every subject, your supervisor will insist, how do you connect this with your paper? How do you connect this? So now, for every subject, they have to come out with 2 or 3 research titles drawn from that subject. And I'm so glad we were able to read 40. And we offered the research titles in my column at the Manila Times every Thursday as a community pantry. Mm-hmm. The only kind of community pantry which is made up of research titles.
Wow, so nice. Great. Yeah. Maybe we will invite others to join. Maybe there are other people, participants who would like to say something. Mr. Fan.
I don't see any questions in the chat box.
Okay.
Oh, Miss Pat is a lady. I used to
Mr. Pat,
address.
Mr.
I
Pat.
address. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
It's Mr. Pat. Yeah.
And it is 9:50 at the moment. So may I suggest you all to take a 15-minute break, and we will come back at 5:10 to resume our next sessions.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
And just before everyone, leave the room. No, sorry, I mean taking a break. There is a short announcement in the chat box where I have linked up the assignment link and the PPT link for this particular presentation. Then for the next sessions, there will be another link.
I think, okay, yeah. Now, before we, Mr. Fat, before we break, I have read here some comments, like this is from Dr. Guria, mentioned about, I agree with you, to advance teacher leadership skills in the classroom, she must continually push herself to learn and improve, constantly receiving feedback on what works and what doesn't. Very, very good. I definitely agree with you. True. So that there is a continuous learning in the process. Leaders really, I would say, are hunger for learning. They would like to push their level up, because we cannot give what we don't have, and we have to search out what is it that will make us a better leader, to improve, ourselves. That's right. I agree. The teacher find other weakness and strength. Yeah, from Myanmar, Nyan Taipong. I also definitely agree with you that teachers should also find their weaknesses and strengths so that they will be able to know their, their level. If I know my strengths and I know my weakness, then I can improve. I can make my strengths better, best, grow to that level, and to correct my weaknesses. To shape my leadership into the kind of leaders that I would like to be. Again, leaders, teacher leaders are informed by their practices and by learning in process and by their models, because we do have models, leader models. And then the point there is really to improve teaching and learning for student achievement. The center is the student, the learning of the student. Okay. Thank you so much. And Dr. Oplina, yeah, I agree. Must be resourceful and resilient. Thank you so much for your comments and for your thoughts and ideas and for the questions you raised. I am very, very glad of your participation. So now we will have our break.
And we will resume at 10:05.
Okay.
So see you all then.
See you.
Okay, see you.
Mhm.
Kung saan ko ganyan siya.
Paolo, so nice na nakaabot ka. Paolo,
Hello.
si Paolo is from Liceo.
Oh,
Paolo Querol, the academic chair for tourism and sa patong kay Paolo, tourism man to.
mm.
Kano sana to, Dr. Oplina, katong nag-defend ka? Dugay naman to ba?
Taon-taon na to, Doc. Mga...
A decade ago?
Yeah, a decade ago.
Lagi, no?
A decade ago, definitely. Mm.
I have always, written, I wrote columns on the Simeo, even on Retract.
In Retract?
Oo, padala. Kasi sa Manila Times, I write every Thursday, education, on education. I could sana send you, pero I don't know how to send. Ang columns ko, di ka na mangita. It's
sige.
about education. And I found out, when it is about research, very popular siya. I think they need so much coaching. Kasi mga graduate students ba?
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Because research really is very, I would say, challenging, especially for beginners. Challenging gid siya ang process sa research. So, I guess mo gina ang kuanon mo na ang pinaka need of the teachers now.
That is why karon for every subject, let's say intra communications, it's a leadership class. So sabi ko, from our subject content, you collect the concepts. For instance, what title can you give for a research proposal? Like communication styles, influence on work behavior. Ba? Collect ba ninyo? Imagine you had 18 subjects ba o pila ka subjects mo. Aya ka pa mag-compare. After that, you cannot even collect anything to have a research title.
That's true.
Ano karon nag-connect sila. Every subject yun.
Well, it is fresh, but when they encounter interesting topic, interesting subject, then they have to write it down because if you want, you will forget.
Yeah. I wrote now karon sa kanang ako karon global citizenship education.
That's
may columns. Oo.
That's good. Demanding topic.
And then I gave example how you teach it in mathematics, in science, and in English. That is what keeps me busy also, besides my online courses. Every Thursday.
Nice. So you look forward every Thursday. That keeps you young, doctor.
Oo, Manila Times. Ang deadline naman niya for Thursday is Sunday.
Yeah, I will have that because there is this online news from Manila Times.
Oo, na sila online. And they also have hard copy.
There is online. I know. I am reading also sometimes. I'm not regularly visiting Manila Times, but now that you are there, I will regularly visit Manila Times. I see your
Thursday.
column. Okay, now are we in now?
Are we in now for the second,
Yes.
Okay.
And well, the next topic will be action research for educators. So, Dr. Anita, I would like to start the video.
Yes.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the last topic of Module 2, Topic 8, Action Research for Educators. I would like to believe that you have been conducting action research at your school and this topic is very familiar to you. We are going to explore the 3 key points of my presentation as follows. What is action research? What are the steps of action research? And what makes action research so beneficial? What is action research? Action research, a form of disciplined inquiry, is utilized by teachers, instructors, and supervisors to improve the practices for improved teaching and learning. It is a systematic process of reflection, inquiry, and action on an individual's own practice. It is an examination of one's practice with the goal of using the data to improve one's future practice. It is at the heart of the professional process of data-driven learning. In schools, action research refers to a wide variety of evaluative, investigative, and analytical research methods designed to diagnose problems or weaknesses and help educators develop practical solutions to address them quickly and efficiently. Action research is a practical approach to professional inquiry and a beneficial tool for self-analysis in the educational field. The main purpose of action research is to help teachers solve their teaching problems in action. It is about how educators can change instruction to impact students. Good educators will conduct their own investigations to identify and solve problems through action research. Educators examine their own educational practices to gain understanding of a particular aspect of teaching and learning and to use the results to improve practice. Part of the confusion we find when we hear the term action research is that there are different types of action research depending upon the participants involved. Action research can involve individual teacher research, collaborative action research, and district-wide research. Individual teacher research. Individual teacher research on a single issue in the classroom. The teacher may be seeking solutions to problems of classroom management, instructional strategies, use of materials, or student learning. Teacher may have support of the supervisor or principal, an instructor for a course teacher is taking, or parents. The problem is one that the teacher believes is evident in his or her classroom and one that can be addressed on an individual basis. One of the drawbacks of individual research is that it may not be shared with others unless the teacher chooses to present findings at a faculty meeting, make a formal presentation at a conference, or submit written material to a journal or newsletter. It is possible for several teachers to be working concurrently on the same problem with no knowledge of the work of others. Collaborative action research. Collaborative action research may include a few teachers or a group of several teachers and others interested in addressing a classroom or department issue. This issue may involve one classroom or a common problem shared by many classrooms. These teachers may be supported by individuals outside of the school, such as a university or community partner. School-wide research. School-wide research focuses on issues common to all. For example, a school may have a concern about the lack of parental involvement in activities and is looking for a way to reach more parents to involve them in meaningful ways. Or the school may be looking to address its organizational and decision-making structures. Teams of staff from the school work together to narrow the question, gather and analyze the data, and decide on a plan of action. An example of action research for a school could be to examine their state test scores, to identify areas that need improvement, and then determine a plan of action to improve student performance. Teamwork and individual contributions to the whole are very important. With these obstacles are overcome, there will be a sense of ownership and accomplishment in the results that come from this school-wide effort. And district-wide research. District-wide research is far more complex and utilizes more resources, but the rewards can be great. Issues can be organizational, community-based, performance-based, or processes for decision-making. A district may choose to address a problem common to several schools or one of the organizational management.
Hello?
Downsides are the documentation
Hello, ma'am.
requirements to keep everyone in the loop and the ability
Nakuha mo
to
ng
keep the
check
process
Doy.
in motion. Collecting data from all
O, sige.
participants means a
Bungaw
commitment
naman
from
ko,
staff
gold
to
deluxe
do their
ay.
fair share
O sige,
and to
tangtang
make
na
a good allotted times
gold
for
deluxe
assignments.
ha.
On the positive
Dagang
side,
si Judy.
real school reform and change can take hold based on a common understanding
O
through
sige,
inquiry.
paabot ko nimo.
The
Kay
involvement of
nag-webinar ko
multiple
maingay,
constituent
hindi ako
groups can blend
makalimot.
energy to the process and create an
O ako
environment
manang
of
kwantoy.
genuine
Speaking,
stakeholders.
Vietnam.
Having explored
Alam
the
mo,
concept and the types of action
speaker
research
pala,
brings us to the second key point of
Oplina,
my presentation.
ako di
What
ay
are the
ang
steps of
laya
action
ka
research?
panel defense
In
na 10
conducting
years
action
ago.
research, we structure routines for continuous
At tungod pa man
and
ng mga
cyclical confrontation with data on behalf of a school community. These routines are loosely guided by the movement through 7 phases of
Yeah.
inquiry.
Very happy siya na nakita niya ako.
Step 1,
Pero siya
select
man
a
ang
focus.
speaker. Siya man
Step
ang
2,
star.
clarify theories. Step 3, 6, report results. And
Sige,
step 7,
istorya
take
tapag
informed
mo.
action.
Pagdala kong makaon.
Step 1, select a focus.
O, sige, salamat.
Start with a research
Ito pa kay
topic in mind.
Annabelle ha, sa School of Education.
The research topic involves an issue within the scope of the researcher's authority, teaching, learning, educational leadership. The research topic addresses a matter about teaching strategy, assessment, classroom management, students' learning, students' academic performance, and others. The research topic involves a matter that will lead to improvement of schools, teaching, and learning. Selecting the focus begins with asking
Ay,
questions.
sinabihan ko si
What
Judy,
elements of my
gusto siya
practice do
magtanong
I
ng
wish to
grade. Sabi ko,
improve?
may statement
If my practice is about my teaching, then what do I worry about my teaching? What aspects of teaching learning do I wish to improve? What do I worry about? State the problem. What are your main day-to-day concerns? What keeps you up at night? If the focus of your study is responsible behavior of the students in the class, you're going to consider some theories and reviews about it. This moves us to step 2 in the research process. Step 2, clarify theories. The second step involves identifying the values, beliefs, and theoretical perspectives the researchers hold relating to their focus. Begin by clarifying which approach will work best as you conduct literature reviews, like using punishments and rewards allowing students to experience the natural consequences of their behaviors or some other strategy. Review the research and literature to identify the values, beliefs, theoretical perspectives, and effective strategies and practices related to the selected focus for your action research project. For example, responsible behavior of the students in the class. Then, when the focus is in place, moves to the third step. Step 3, formulate research questions. Set of personally meaningful research questions to guide the inquiry. Research questions spell out the goal of the study. A research question is your line of inquiry. A well-crafted research question clarifies the thin slice that you will investigate. It relates the action you will take to the outcome you're interested in measuring. There are two parts of action research question. 1, action, and 2, outcome. For example, how could students' behavior, action, be improved to enhance teaching and learning outcome in the class? How can project-based learning action be structured to promote student engagement outcome? And how do increased efforts to include student voice and choice action in professional learning plans or PLP influence satisfaction outcome with the PLP process? Once your research questions are in place, you will move to step 4. Step 4, collect data. Collect data that answer each of your research questions. First, look for data where it already exists. Then, think of data as artifacts of evidence of existing conditions. Then, develop a plan for data collection and analysis. And respect confidentiality and individual privacy as appropriate. Consider these questions in data collection. What do you need to know to better understand your situation and make decisions about your practice? What types of data will provide you with the information that you need? What types of data are already available to you? What types of data do you need to generate? What instruments will you need to generate and collect data? The collection of data is an important step in deciding what action needs to be taken. Multiple sources of data are used to better understand the scope of happenings in the classroom or school. There are many vehicles for collection of data depending on the nature and scope of your study and the availability of data. For example, of sources of data: portfolios, diaries, field notes, audio tapes, photos, memos, samples of student work, projects, performances, journals, and others. And there are also methods of data collection like focus group, discussions, surveys, questionnaires, observation, document review, discussion, interviews, checklist, and others. Select the data that are most appropriate for the issue being researched. Are the data easy to collect? Are the sources readily available for use? How structured and systematic will the collection be? Use at least 3 sources of data for the basis of actions. Organize the data in a way that makes it useful to identify trends and themes. Data can be arranged by gender, classroom, grade level, school, and others. And on what data to gather and how you'll analyze it before you start. Capture data in a form that you can analyze. Other formats like a set of notes and observations or a rubric will guide your analysis. Student reflection with a discrete, consistent set of questions can provide you with the valuable data. You are a great data source as well. Keep a research journal where you record anecdotes and insights, record your classroom on video, fill out observational checklists to record behaviors of interest, periodically reflect in writing, audio, or video. Use data triangulation, for example, survey, interview, and focus group discussion. Data triangulation makes the findings as valid as possible. The goal is to create a meaningful narrative backed up by evidence. This captures some lessons learned. Step 5. Analyze data. Keep in mind to organize the findings according to research questions. Approach your data collection systematically and look for patterns through the lens of your research questions. Cross-check your conclusions across multiple perspectives from your triangulated data sources. Analyze and identify major themes. Depending upon the question, teachers may wish to use classroom data, individual data, or subgroup data. Some of the data are quantifiable and can be analyzed without the use of statistics or technical assistance. Other data, such as opinions, attitudes, or checklists, may be summarized in table form. Data that are not quantifiable can be reviewed holistically, and important elements or themes can be noted. During this portion of the 7-step process, teacher researchers will systematically sort, classify, rank, and examine their data to answer each research question with 2 generic questions. What is the story embedded in my data? What factors significantly influence this story? Step 6. Report results. Consider the following questions in your report. Why am I interested in this topic? What are significant factors regarding the setting where I have conducted? What are the research questions that guided my study? What are my judgments based upon? What techniques are used to collect and analyze data? How does the data analyzed inform my conclusions? What do I learn? And what am I planning to do now? The reporting of action research occurs in informal settings that are far less intimidating, like faculty meetings, seminars, and teacher conferences. And step 7, take informed action. Taking informed action, the step in the action research process, is very familiar to most teachers. Using the information from the data collection and review of current literature, design a plan of action that will allow you to make a change and to study that change. As with any experiment, if several changes are made at once, it will be difficult to determine which action is responsible for the outcome. While the new technique is being implemented, continue to document and collect data on performance. What makes action planning particularly satisfying is that with each piece of data uncovered, the educator feels greater confidence in the wisdom of the next steps. Develop an action plan to improve the school, teaching, and student learning based on your data analysis, the findings and conclusions upon which you can be based actions. Implement your action plan. Assess the effects of the intervention to determine if improvements has occurred. If there is improvement, do the data clearly provide the supporting evidence? If not, what changes can be made to the actions to elicit better results? While there may be different terms to describe the steps in action research, the basic concept is the same. Educators are working in their own environment with their own students on problems that affect them directly. They are the place where research and practice intersect and real change can occur. Results of their actions can be seen firsthand, and they can build on this information. As a result of the action search project, identify additional questions raised by the data and plan for additional improvements, revisions, and next steps. Evaluate results. Some tips in action research: course corrections are okay. Data collection plans often change as information starts to flow in, but you can alter your research questions as your investigative focus shifts. It is your story. Get a buddy. Find a mentor or colleague that you can periodically bounce ideas off. Share the wealth. Sharing is an important part of the process. It forces you to distill your newfound knowledge and provides closure. You can share within your school, online, or in a public forum. Having explored the steps of action research, let's proceed to the third and the last key point of my presentation. What makes action research so beneficial? For educators, action research can be beneficial for a variety of reasons. The primary one is simply a desire to learn more. After all, effective teachers are students themselves and are constantly seeking ways to expand their existing knowledge. Here are some benefits of action research. 1. Concentrate on a school issue, a problem, or a shared interest. Conducting research with the teacher students in a setting familiar to the teacher contributes to the relevance and validity of the discipline study. Often, academic research is viewed as disconnected from educators' daily lives. While this is not always the case, teachers can benefit greatly from picking up on threads suggested in academic circles and weaving them into their own classroom. Additionally, it is reassuring for parents and education administrators outside of the school to know that a teacher is not simply repeating what the latest study appears to suggest, but is transforming the knowledge into something meaningful. 2. A method of professional development for teachers. Teachers can grow and develop confidence in their work through research and reflection. Action research projects have an effect on participants' critical thinking abilities, sense of efficacy, willingness to share and communicate, and attitude towards the change process. Teachers learn about themselves, their students, and their colleagues through action research and can identify ways to continually improve. 3. Collegial interactions. Isolation is a disadvantage of teaching. Teachers are frequently the only adults in a room full of children with little or no time scheduled for professional conversation with colleagues. Action research in pairs or in teams of teachers provides an opportunity for teachers to discuss teaching strategies with one another. Teachers must describe their own teaching styles and strategies and share their thoughts with their colleagues when they work in these teams. As a team, they examine various instructional strategies, learning activities, and curricular materials used in the classroom. Through these discussions with colleagues, they develop stronger relationships. As the practice of action research becomes part of the school culture, we see increased sharing and collaboration across departments, disciplines, grade levels, and schools. 4. Possibility of influencing school change. When teachers engage in action research, they are more likely to focus on issues affecting the school and district rather than on issues affecting the individual teacher. This process results in the emergence of new patterns of collaboration, communication, and sharing. Additionally, contributions to the body of knowledge regarding teaching and learning may occur. Prioritization of school-wide planning and assessment efforts results from inquiry that has the potential to motivate change for improvement. 5. Reflect on practice. Opportunities for teachers to evaluate themselves in schools are often few and usually happen only in an informal manner. Action research can serve as a chance to really take a look at one's own teaching in a structured manner. While the focus of action research is usually the students, educators can also investigate what effect their teaching is having on their students, how they could work better with other teachers, or ways of changing the whole school for the better. Conversations can take on a different focus from attempting to fix to arriving at understanding. And 6th, improved communications. Within the school or district, teamwork brings individuals together for a common goal. Educators who engage in action research develop a greater capacity for flexibility in their thinking and an increased receptivity to novel ideas. Latest 2020 research indicates that patterns of collegiality, communication, and networking have shifted in a positive direction. I have just finished my presentation of Topic 8, Action Research for Educators, which is the last topic of Module 2, Teacher Leadership and Management. I hope I have given you ideas and thoughts to ponder for those who have not yet started conducting action research, and encouragement to continue doing action research for those who are already hands-on. I would like to close this topic with a few thoughts. The primary goals of action research in the field of education are to enhance teaching abilities, to maximize student learning outcomes, and to transform schools into a quality learning organizations. As a result, action research is deeply ingrained in society and is typically conducted by a single educator or researcher or by a group of colleagues who share a common interest in a particular issue. The ultimate objective of action research is to enhance practices in order to improve student outcomes. Your action research is a compelling story to tell. I'd like to conclude by asking you two questions. What will you investigate? And what story are you going to tell? Thank you for joining us today.
And this is the end of the video.
Okay, we have just finished watching the second video, Action Research for Educators. Maybe we can invite our participants to join, have some questions or sharing of experiences or ideas and thoughts. Then we will do it, like a casual conversation. But it's a learning conversation as well. Yeah, I guess in my presentation, I was trying really to focus on the purpose of action research. Why do we conduct action research in the school for educators? And I see in my research as well, the main purpose of action research is to improve the practice. Like we would like the practice we have to be improved. Maybe it is good now, but we would like it to be better and best. We keep on improving so that we will be able to give out the best to our students, and that students would be able to perform what they have learned. It is, again, centering on students' learning and achievement, as well as to improve the school. So we have either two ways: to improve the students' outcomes and to improve the school we are in.
Okay, once again, good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Really, in Deep Ed, Department of Education, we are really encouraged to conduct action research at least twice a year in order to assess student learning, how are we faring with our school implementations and policies. But first of all, it is for the benefit of our learners. So we are doing that
Mhm.
twice a year, and we are having division level, regional level, up to the national level.
That's great. Very good. Yeah. Mhm. So there is also, like you see also the improvement, that there is the efficacy of the action research done. Because you see, there are researches that are not, like implemented according to the plan. Hopefully that the results, the findings of the action research will also really be implemented effectively for the good of the students as well as for the good of the school. Do we have participants from Cambodia?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Chan Pak Di.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, nice to meet you again.
Yes. Okay.
Mm.
May I?
Yes, Dr. Tumapon.
Yes. When you were talking about this action research, I remember there is also what they say, which I think originated from Japan, lesson study.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a group of teachers, and actually it's like a team research. I think you know it. I
Yeah.
wrote about it once, but
Mhm,
it
mhm.
seems that not many among us have come across it. But it's quite popular in some places. So it's so similar. What I'm trying to say is, when we talk of action research, it will very well fit into the lesson study.
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
it's research, and they agree on a particular goal that they want to find out. But what would be interesting, I hope we will have those, so that
Mhm.
when they try it on students, because they usually invite also, they invite
Mhm.
educators to find out how it goes on. So I wish we had study plan somewhere, and I wish there was action research somewhere, so we will be able to see one another, no?
Yeah.
And maybe in webinar because of the pandemic.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a lesson research, right?
Mm-mm.
Yes, maybe the term, they just have their own term, but it looks like action research as well, right?
That's right. That's why I thought of it when you were talking about action research.
Yeah. So they just use the other term for action research, but that's good. I see that article. I have read about Lisson's research, and it really looks like similar to action research. Again, the purpose is to improve the practice.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm, mhm,
But the thing is, they will see if their practice is how the students react when they actually what do you call that, apply what they agreed in research to do. And
mhm,
what's there is they would. The thing is, the difference is that when we do something new, we usually try to look whether the teacher does it right or wrong, how it does it. But in this lesson study, we don't look at the teacher. We are looking at how the students respond. It's different. Oo.
mhm. Yeah, true.
The focus is the
This,
response of students. It's
the
not
res-
it's that how the teacher does. That's the difference I see in lesson study.
mhm. Yeah, because I guess it also in that lesson study, they are trying to look into the effect, of
That's right.
the
Right.
implementation, whether or not students are responding it according to the plan, if there
Mhm.
are as well changes of the students. Yeah, and I agree with you that in our action plan, we are trying to focus as well to the teacher implementation of the plan. But we see it is a kind also of a
We
cyclical
can
process.
marry. We can
Yeah,
marry the
we
two.
can marry the two. But I guess no, the lesson study or the action research could be a cyclical pattern. Like after implementing, we need to evaluate to see what's the result of this one, and see the action of the students, whether or not students are responding well to the implementation.
Right. It's so nice when you have these webinars. We really have our protoplasms really active, no? We begin really thinking.
I know very sure that you know all about this one because you are conducting research, action research. But maybe it's just kind of a refresher to ourselves. And sometimes we need to what is that? To be silent in a while and say reflect. And I hope that this will remind us back to what we know about it. And
Yeah, and give us new insights.
mhm. Because now once we improve something, we do something, it must be evidence-based.
Right.
So yeah, we need to conduct really research. But action research is just just a part of that bigger research. So, but the process is the same. That
Right.
it's a systematic inquiry. Mhm. But it's really very, I would say, comforting and I would say feeling accomplished when we conduct action research and we see the difference, we see our strengths and weaknesses, and we see what we have been practicing really needs to be improved. And then when we apply it, and then the application is successful, like it will make students learning better. It's really kind of feeling accomplished, kind of. So
Yeah.
teachers should really conduct action research, at least for me. And I'm happy now that the education in the Philippines really are encouraging teachers to conduct action research. Like for example, you conduct 2 action researches for 1 year. That's really very fantastic and quite challenging as well, but it's an interesting learning process for both teachers and students.
Yeah, it's just sometimes they have too much paperwork to do.
True. Mhm. Okay, may I ask Mr. Fat if we have participants from Myanmar?
Well, I believe we do have participants from Myanmar today.
Hmm.
In the chat box, Dr. Anita, Mr. or Mrs. Zinma Swat.
Oh, we have here from Myanmar. Yeah, don't know whether this is Mr. or Miss, but Zin Martwa. Welcome to our webinar today. Ah, I'm really happy you joined us. Mm.
maybe our teachers will have will try more to do action research if they are given some incentive. For instance, here in Cagayan de Oro, if they are able to publish, I think, even in the local newspapers, I think they are getting some points. So if they can publish their action research, they do get some points. The funny thing though, I was told, I said, maayo ko pa ma'am, gabayaran ka pagkulong, kaming magbayad. So they had to, I don't know how much it is for the newspaper, no? I cannot also blame the newspaper because it's their income. So, so to me, when there is something like that talaga, life is so complicated at times.
Really, I really definitely agree with you, Doc. That's true. There are researchers out there who really have good work, good research. But the problem is, they could not just publish it because they have to pay, or even present to like international or national conferences.
That's why I was hoping
they are going to pay that much, and that discourages.
Well, I was going to say the divisions in the DepEd could put up maybe webinars, and I was thinking we could bank on the social responsibility of certain companies. For instance, Fuse. I think you have heard about Fuse of Lucio Tan. Yes, and Dr. Tan is very generous. In fact, that whole floor in a building in front of the U.S. is dedicated to CPD for DepEd, because I am in his foundation. Yeah, so I think we can just stop those things if only somebody will only look for funds. I think it is not impossible.
Yeah.
The only thing is wala. Nobody
initiate,
Maybe I will try.
Yeah, we need advocators, we need people who really initiate. I think if someone will start the move, then that's possible.
By the way, Dr. Oplina, if you are still interested in the Fuse, it's every last Tuesday in the morning.
Okay.
And I can tell the secretary, who happens to be my cousin, of Lucio Tan, to include you.
Okay. Yes.
Because si Ethel of Simeo, you know naman Ethel, no?
Yes.
Ethel is usually every last Tuesday. Sometimes, when she does not have maybe some time, she would attend.
Okay.
Ethel Valenzuela.
Yes. She is now
our boss. Your boss in Simeo.
Yeah.
Kasi we were together with Ethel during the early years of the CHED in internationalization, until she went to the Inotech here in our place. And it's former Secretary Bacani, who is the head of Inotech.
Inotech, yes.
So, mga nato, mga kaibigan.
Yeah, Dr. Ethel is now the director in the CIMES in Bangkok.
Of the Secretariat.
Secretariat.
Oh, she just had her birthday. We celebrated it with Ballesteros. Yeah, Margie is how is that? Internationalization Cooperation of the Fed. ICO office. Yeah. So it's good that we all know one another and we are in the same round and round.
Okay, so maybe I can communicate with you about that one. I'm interested to join.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please, yes. Me, I really have shared about Simeo. I give them about the how many centers, regional centers, the medical group, especially yours to the teachers. Oh, in fact, Ethel was saying, wow, he said, I think I will give you an award. Because I really shared to all the state colleges, to the DepEd, yeah, they have all the
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
regional
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really. We are so happy and
I tell
very
them
grateful to you.
they have international certificates, I said, and don't you worry about the CPD. It's just there. In fact, there are several from us here now. I'm so happy because I even shared this to Father Javier, who wrote me, the former president of Xavier. Because he's in
Wow.
Ateneo de Cebu. So I wrote him, I gave him a link. I said, you give this to Santa Teresa, to the Ateneo de Cebu, and so on.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course, to the state colleges.
Okay.
Sayang naman because there is so much webinar. In fact, we registered up to December, down to December, except that there were those that were postponed in September.
True. Because we could not really go out.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We had the full calendar anyway.
Okay, so
and to the colleges of medicine, they all know already the four regional centers for medicine. Because we have a college of medicine now at Liceo. It's going on it's going on its third year.
That's so fine. That's so great, huh? We need more doctors and nurses now.
Oh, but USTP, Dr. Oplina, will be opening.
Wow.
So tatlo na, ha? My daughter is with USTP. She is attending now.
Okay. So, Mr. Fat, are there other questions or sharing of thoughts, ideas, and experience?
Until now, I don't see any questions.
So, the topic is so familiar. We have been doing this one. We have been performing. We are researchers in our own context.
But there should be a way really for these teachers who do action research to have some outlet such as a journal, no?
That's one thing. I am really thinking very, very hard about it. I don't know.
I will bring that up to Dr. Tan, Kapitan.
Like it's really like there's no payment. I mean, it's
that's
free,
right.
so that they will be encouraged to do action.
They will pay pa.
Yeah.
They will pay pa, June. Yeah, I think who is the? Yeah, I hope Dr. Briones will be open. I'm trying to think who we should.
Yeah, you have so much network, so you can really do it by your power, Doc.
I think I will begin thinking of it. Trying to think who can help us.
You can use the international people, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you, Doc. So far we have no more.
I still haven't seen any questions.
Okay.
So may I suggest we are closing the session for today?
Okay. We have Vietnam participant as well, right? Today?
Yes.
So if I recall, our participants now are from Myanmar, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Philippines. They are all right. Yeah, thank you so much. Really, I'm so happy and delighted that you have given us a piece of your time. I know you're very busy, but then you go outside from that phenomenon and join us. Thank you so much.
Oh, there were 27 this morning.
Yeah, there were 27. And we are also in the YouTube, Mr. Fat, right? We have participants over there as well.
For today, we only have participants in a Zoom.
In a Zoom. Okay, so we are going to end our session today. And my dearest participants, thank you so much for your thoughts, insights, and for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you very
thank you.
much.
And I hope to see you again next session.
So before we close our session today, I would like to remind you some important notes. First, please complete the assignment on the 2 Google Forms that are shared in the chat box before Saturday next week, November the 6th. Let me repeat again, before Saturday next week, November the 6th, we will send you the link via the email, and please do tap your input in the attendance link so that we can collect your presence here. Second, your name on the assignment will be used on the certificate of completion, so please make sure to input it correctly, as we cannot reissue the certificate. Finally, well, we will inform you about the next sessions once the date is finalized, and we'll send you the link just like this time, 2 or 3 days before the start of it. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate you being here with us, and kindly share this free program with your college and network so that it can make greater impact to the regional education.
Again, thank you. Thank you so much.
Salamat. Thank you.
Dr. Tumapon, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oplina.
Thank you.
So when I tell Pius, your address will be at Retra?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
No.
Doc.
Ay, salamat.